Jake Diebler brings in the 49th best freshman class, the 16th best transfer class, and the 33rd overall class to Ohio State this season. I'll break down the film of all 6, including Meechie Johnson making his return at the end of the video. Aaron Bradshaw is a 7'1" sophomore center transferring from Kentucky. He averaged 4.9 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 0.7 blocks in just under 14 minutes a game. He did have an injury to start his freshman season and caused him to miss 7 games. A former very high recruit, he just didn't quite have the fit for Kentucky last season. The athleticism and size though are why he has such upside. He's 7'1" with a 7'4" wingspan and can move pretty well. I do think he pretty badly needs to put on weight and just kind of fill out his frame in general. Right now, he isn't a very good post defender at all and just oftentimes finds himself out of position because of the weight. On offense, right now, he's mainly a dunker spot type of guy, or he's going to be able to roll and get lobs at the rim. I think he does get caught flat-footed a lot. I kind of buy the jumper, even though it really wasn't good and it was very limited. Like, I at least see the upside for him to eventually have that shot to being developed. I think the strength's needed also for some just kind of finishing at the rim through contact. But because of the 7'1" and 7'4" wingspan that moves really well with at least some sort of upside for shooting, there's reason to have hope with him for Ohio State. So on this clip right here, we're going to look at Bradshaw's ability to help protect the rim. And so ball's going to be up at the top. This is going to be Bradshaw right here, kind of down low. And so what you're going to see is as the drive's happening, he's going to be the one that's able to rotate over. He's great kind of being able to just hover around the rim, zone up, and help protect that way. He also has upside to being able to move a little bit. And here, does a good job rotating over, timing it, and getting the big block. So then on this clip, I want to look at Bradshaw's kind of mobility, able to finish at the rim. So it's going to be him right here for Kentucky. Kentucky's going to be in kind of a horn set, right? 2 at the elbow extended, 2 in the corners, ball screens up top. And so even though he's not the one setting the screen, he's still going to be kind of diving towards the rim. And so as this happens, ball handler does a good job of getting downhill. And so now you can kind of just see he's able to be here and ready for the spot for the drop off, something that he does really well. If you're enjoying, please like and subscribe and comment who you think will be the best out of the 6. Colin White is a 6'6" freshman wing that last played at Ottawa Glanford in Ohio. He averaged 20.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.0 assists per game. He is a wing with 3-level scoring upside, I think. I do really like the shot mechanics, and I think he really can be a shooter. He showed the capability to shoot both in high school and during AAU. He can get to a shot off the dribble if needed, but can also be a catch-and-shoot guy, which is probably what he'll be more of at Ohio State. Now, I think what's interesting with him too, though, is he can attack closeouts well. I think he has more athleticism and physicality than people will give him credit for, and this kind of allows him to attack gaps. Be kind of this straight line driver, being able to attack closeouts, attack gaps like that. I don't know if I trust as much of him being a pure self-creator. I am a little concerned with the handle, being able to create gaps for himself as a primary, but he's a pretty smart player overall. I think he makes good plays and good reads and just should be pretty productive at some point. So in this clip right here with White, I want to look at him being able to attack closeouts. Ball's going to be kind of brought up here. This is going to be him right here on the left wing. And so he is a shooter. He can definitely knock this down. But this is where he does a good job. He looks like he has kind of a big cross matched onto him in transition. And so he just is going to drive baseline immediately. And then from there, he has pretty good size and athleticism to be able just to kind of get to his spot, be able to rise up, get the layup there to go. In this clip, we'll look at the shooting ability that White has. This is going to be him with the ball, and although I don't think he's going to be as much of a primary creator at Ohio State, he still does kind of have that capability to him if needed. This is going to be kind of just double ball screen up at the top. And so now with the defender kind of being lost right there and trying to go under, this is all the space that White needs. He's going to be comfortable getting into his shot right there. Really just gets a wide open look, and you can see the shot mechanics, like they're just pretty smooth to me, and he's able to get this one to go. Micah Parrish is a 6'6" fifth-year wing transferring from San Diego State. He averaged 9.3 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game. Parrish is just kind of a solid overall two-way wing. There isn't any one thing in particular that he necessarily excels at, but he also really doesn't have any weaknesses. He's a solid defender that can defend multiple positions. He isn't the quickest, but has good size that allows him to also kind of get a lot of deflections. Offensively, he can get to and finish at the rim. He's not the best, but like I said, he's fine. He's a little bit lanky and has some craftiness around the rim. He's also show touch in the mid-range, especially last season where he saw a little bit of an uptick in that area. He isn't much of a facilitator, but he's improved really not turning the ball over as well. The three-point shooting is probably the most interesting thing. Throughout his career, he shot 35, 37, 35, and 30% from three. If he's like the 30% from three last year, that could be issues from Ohio State because they do desperately need the shooting from him. Last year, he did really struggle on catch and shoot, but we'll have to see what he does this year for Ohio State. So on this play right here, we'll look at Parrish's ability to drive and get to the rim. He has some self-creation to him, but he's another guy kind of like Colin White where I think he excels really at being off ball and being able to attack closeouts. So the ball's going to get swung to him in the corner, jab step, and now he's going to be able to get downhill. And then with his size and his kind of lankiness, once he kind of has this step, that's when he's really going to do well and succeed. So now here, able to absorb and kind of get through the contact and then rise up and get a tough finish to go right there. So on this play right here, we're going to look at Parrish's shooting ability. Like I said, I think that's going to be a big thing for him. He shot around 35% most of his career, but last year it did take a dip. So in this play right here, San Diego State's going to be going into kind of their Spain pick and roll, which they do a lot. So he's going to be one setting the back screen on the big. And so from there, he's just going to be able to kind of pop out back up to the three-point line and catch. And now he has a nice clean look. And this is where he did struggle. He didn't hit a lot of catch and shoot open threes. He hesitates there, still is able to get this one to go, but that's going to be a big swing skill. Sean Stewart is a 6'9" sophomore forward transferring from Duke. He averaged 2.6 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 0.5 blocks per game in under 10 minutes a game last season. Another guy that has a lot of upside, was a high recruit, but just didn't really find a role last year. He is very, very athletic, and that's really the biggest upside. I like him as a true rim protector. He had a pretty high block percentage in limited minutes, and he just has the ability to kind of protect the rim, especially as a roamer. Defensively, he switched most stuff in pick and roll. Like, he can be a guy that can step out on the perimeter if needed and defend. He's definitely not a good post defender at 6'9", 225, just not quite big enough consistently. Offensively, though, it's definitely going to be a process. He doesn't really have a ton of touch. Basically, everything that he had to do was either as a roller or from the dunker spot and just being able to kind of dunk the ball. But the upside is the rim protector and just somebody that can bring a ton of versatility on the defensive end. So in this clip right here, I want to look at Stewart's ability to help protect the rim. This is going to be him down here on like kind of the block area. So as the ball comes up, they're going to flow into kind of it's essentially a pin down and then into a handoff. Duke is going to switch a lot of this, and NC State does a good job of getting through it with a backdoor cut. So now he's out of position here, but he's still able to recover, come over, show off the athleticism right there, and to get that weak side block. So then on this clip here, we'll look at what he kind of was used as offensively pretty consistently. So it's going to be him up top, and now he's going to flow kind of to the corner and eventually end up in this like kind of short corner dunker spot area where basically his job here is to try to crash the glass if the ball goes up, or like he's going to do here is just get a drop off and then try to convert at the rim. And so with his defender coming over and helping on the drive, him in this dunker spot right here, now he's able to catch and just kind of go up, and that's pretty much what he was used at Duke. Juni Mobley is a 6-foot freshman point guard who played at Wasatch Academy in Utah. He averaged 21.5 points, 5.4 assists, and 2 steals a game. He is very much a lead point guard that showed really good facilitating. At 6 foot tall, he was still able to put defenses in rotation, put them out of position, and then make the correct read from there. He was really comfortable driving and pick and roll to create for others, and he also showed the ability to make live dribble skip passes. Offensively, besides that though, he's a good shooter. He shot only 33% last year during EYBL play, but he is probably a much better shooter than that, I think. He does a good job of kind of creating space for his pull-up shots when needed. Now, in terms of being able to drive though, I think that'll be an area to monitor. He shies away from going to the rim and trying to finish through contact, especially at 6 foot, 150 pounds. I think the counter to it though for him is going to developing a floater. He showed it a little bit, but I think continued work on that area will be important. Defensively is fine. He has pretty quick hands, which helps a lot. I don't know if he's overly quick, and he definitely will be giving up size at times, but that one's going to be more of a let's see what happens. Alright, so in this clip right here, I want to look at Mobley's ability to pass and facilitate the ball. This is going to be him getting eventually getting into kind of a pick and roll right here, empty-sided, and so with nobody in this strong side corner defensively, that means he knows he has this gap to be able to drive. And so he does a good job of getting downhill. And what this does is, okay, so now this is going to force the defense to rotate. So as we rewind a little bit, this guy is going to come over and help. And this is going into a hammer screen, which is kind of just this pin back on the weak side. And so now Mobley throws just live dribble, one-handed skip pass right on the money to a shooter. Just really good passing. And then on this clip, I want to look at Mobley's ability to create his own shot and just have a good shooting ability. So again, him at the top of the key with the ball right here. He's kind of just looking for whatever the defense is going to give. Nothing really happens, and it's like, all right, it's go time, one-on-one. Really good crossover. I think he does a good job of creating the separation. 6 foot, he needs to be able to do that to get the perimeter shot off. He does that. Now, this is still obviously very heavily contested, but Mobley's a good enough shooter. He's able to kind of ignore the contact and still be able to make it. Meechie Johnson is a 6'2", fifth-year point guard transferring from South Carolina. He did spend his first 2 years at Ohio State. He averaged 14.1 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game last year for South Carolina. He is very, very comfortable as a combo guard, playing both on and off ball, and that's going to work really well next to Bruce Thornton. When he does have the ball, he's very fast. He can get downhill in a hurry, and that kind of creates the driving lanes that he needs. He's also very good at facilitating out of these driving lanes. He does a good job of rotating defenses, finding the right guys. Now, in terms of being able to score the ball, he's more of a high volume type scorer, not the most efficient. He converts at the rim when there's not really a rim protector there. If he can kind of get over the guards, that's when he's fine. But if there's a rim protector there, like a big presence, then that's when he really, really struggles. He got blocked almost once a game on average. He was low volume, but pretty good in the mid-range, and that's maybe kind of the counter he can go to if he's struggling at the rim. And he's an okay shooter at best. He's been 32% the past 3 seasons, mainly catch and shoot threes. He's not going to get to many pull-up threes. If you're Ohio State, you're hoping to see at least the 32, if not like closer to like 35%. Defensively, I think he has pretty good defensive upside. He's going to give up size to some bigger twos, but at the same time, he moves pretty well, and I like the fit potentially. On this play right here, I want to look at Meechie's ability to facilitate the ball. And so it's going to be him right here, just through to the top of the key. This kind of play right here where Meechie can run off like a double pin down type action, they'd run a lot. On this one right here though, he's going to curl tight off of this. And so as he gets it, he's just going to be reading this big, right? He knows he has the guard kind of on his hip. He does a good job of kind of keeping him there. So now as soon as this big is going to rotate over and help protect the rim because of his speed, easy kick out, get his guy an open look for our 3. All right, so on this clip right here, I want to look at Meechie Johnson's just kind of speed with the ball, ability to get downhill and have that burstiness to him. This is going to be him bringing up the ball right here, gets kind of a drag screen, and boom, immediately already kind of takes off, refuses the screen to get downhill. And then right as we kind of look past that, really good change of pace in this area. And I'll rewind to kind of show it at full speed, but stops, hesitates a little, and then boom, blows by to be able to now just get the step. The big is not able to recover at all, and so now Meechie's able to get a good look at the rim.